There you go.
Thank you, robot lady. The voice tells me it's recording now.
Teen, it's not funny.
I want to see more of Cass interacting with human things.
hmm There's
Like,
a really, I mean, there's another scene of him trying to use a phone in a later season, I believe, around season, I want to say 8 or maybe 9, somewhere around that, maybe 10. I don't know. I don't. Those seasons, like there's the Carver era, just kind of like fade
blurs
into
together.
one. Oh yeah, for me, like I don't see a difference between those
This
seasons.
this is how I always describe the 10 years I spent at the company we worked together at,
Yeah.
where it's like the number of times I have to ask you, like, did you work with this person in those
Yeah.
10 years? Did you overlap? Because in my mind, it is just like a bubble of like everyone existed at once. There is no
Yeah,
it's time
it's
dilation.
time has like completely like what is it, like
Yeah.
merged into one
Compressed.
moment,
Yeah.
compressed. Thank you.
It is a single point in time.
It's a single point in
Um,
time. I feel
I
bad.
I I feel bad. We're both not feeling 100% today. I'm going to admit it for both of us.
Yeah.
So my drink of choice was ginger ale today, and it's already been done. So I don't have a click for this week. I
No.
apologize.
I'm just drinking water from my tumbler.
No, there you go.
There we go.
We had a very interesting question this week, and I'm very excited to get into it. Would you
Yeah,
like to read it?
of course. So the question this week is, was Endverse really the future, or was it a trick world entirely created by Zachariah?
Okay, so I kind of, not knowing this was our topic, started talking about this in the episode. So if
Yeah,
you
you
are coming
did.
here straight from listening to the episode or fairly recently, you already know my theory on clearly the way the timeline in the Supernatural's version of a multiverse must exist, because to be able to pick this version while hoping to change the future means the other future must exist as well. And it's all
Okay.
just a matter of getting their timeline to meet that point, which
Mm,
means every timeline across the multiverse must exist. So there's a version of Endverse that is ever so slightly different. Maybe Chuck's not there, or someone else is in his place. Like, who knows? There's a million variants. So yes, this was a real future, but also kind of yes, this is Zachariah cherry picking a very specific variant of that future,
hmm
where the ultimate goal is the world is ending and it's all your fault for accepting Michael and being his vessel. But let's make sure that everything goes in a certain way to help drive that point home. Let's have
Yeah.
Cass be broken and distraught and see the pain in him because he still loves you and he realizes he can't have you. Let's go to the
Mm.
version where you literally get your neck snapped by Sam in Lucifer's body. I mean, this is as much as it's not Zachariah making a fake world, this is Zachariah very specifically choosing the world to show him.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. I think we also sort of had that conversation in It's a Terrible Life.
Yeah, I think that one's a little different because that one wasn't time travel per se, but
hmm
again, the same premise of Zachariah cherry picking, and basically it's almost like that. I feel like this is a sciencey thing that maybe you'll be able to give me a better insight on, but I've read articles like this where an experiment is done and the scientist wants a very specific outcome, so they, whether purposefully or inadvertently, sway the results to meet the hypothesis they were trying to achieve.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it could be a bunch of different types of biases. Yes.
Yeah, but essentially there is a bias there in the person creating the test wanting a certain result. In this
hmm
case, Zachariah doesn't have to go by any ethics board. Clearly, he's an angel. Ethics are out the window, we've decided. But there is
There
a
are no
level,
ethics.
there are no ethics to being an angel,
No.
apparently, as we've learned. Giving someone stage 4 stomach cancer to try to convince them to do a good thing is apparently a move that they're cool with.
There you go.
Extreme levels
Would
there.
not pass an ethics board, by the way.
No, no, I greatly
No.
agree. It probably would not.
No, it would
But
not.
that's just, I think Zachariah's way of doing things is to create a scenario that makes it look like, see, you did it all by yourself, when in
hmm
reality, everything was skewed in the ways that you would not necessarily notice right away, especially being in the experiment, to very clearly favor an outcome he desired.
hmm So, it's interesting because it's never really been explained. Like, we never really find out if it was a real future or not a real future. And I think that that's really cool because it leaves us wondering and it leaves the kind of stuff for interpretation that I like to interpret. Um, I think, don't quote me on this, but I not too long ago I read someone saying that Kripke had said that it was one possible future out of a bunch of other possible futures. So kind of like going along with what you're saying. And I'm saying don't quote me on this because I don't actually have a source for it. So,
Okay,
take
but
that with a grain of
again,
salt.
like given the way the show is written, given the way we've seen time travel work previously,
It's
I
not
think
an
it's
outrageous statement, right?
exactly. It's not outrageous. I feel like there's enough evidence for it than there is against it. I
Mm-hmm.
think my only real issue with this version of the multiverse theory that I've proposed is that that also means a future exists where Dean does succeed without accepting Michael. Assuming
Mm-hmm.
that happens in the show at some point, it means it has to exist as a future at some point,
Mm-hmm.
which means Zachariah is aware of it, but still wants his Michael future more, which means that
Mm-hmm.
Zachariah is probably lying even more in this case.
Mm-hmm.
Because if there was a way for Dean to say no to Michael but still succeed, why wouldn't he just show him that option as well? He wants Michael to get there. He wants some more outcome than just Dean succeeding.
Mm.
Which again furthers my hypothesis and my theory in the show that Zachariah needs a good swift punch in the dick.
Yeah.
Okay. I am positing that this is what should happen, and I am hoping it eventually does through the actions of many characters. I think Cass and Dean both get a swing. Heck, Sam can have one too, just because.
Okay. I'm going to move away from that slightly.
Sure.
Just leave that up to you.
Yeah, yeah.
I I am having some trouble putting some thoughts into words. Um, because when I rewatched this episode, I found it incredibly similar to an episode that we're going to see in season 15.
Ooh.
And in both cases, it is a higher power who is trying to make one of the brothers agree to do something in order to help the ultimate goal of the higher power by showing them what they call the future.
Again,
And
the way you keep secrets from me is so impressive.
and the way that these two episodes turn out so incredibly differently has been on my mind, has not escaped me. So I understand that it's, a potential future, but I think it's a made up potential future. Like it's literal fan fiction. You know what I mean? Like it's them or the higher power in this oops, sorry. In this case, Zachariah being like, this is what I think is the worst case scenario. And that's why I'm saying it is a world of his creation because it's what he wants Dean to see. And I'm not arguing that it's like not the future, but I do argue that it's not the future in this timeline.
That is interesting. And I also, again, like the fact that I kind of went back on myself a bit there with the idea that if there is infinite potential futures, that there must be better options out there or even worse options out there.
Mm-hmm.
That maybe all the time travel in this is all illusion magic almost.
How do we know?
Like we don't. And this is again one of those areas where I'm like, I don't want an explanation. I want it to remain a fluid
Right.
concept.
Yeah.
Like even going back in time and putting, Dean in the past and meeting his young father and his mother, like we have no evidence that like things he did or didn't do affected the present because we'll never know because the way they set up time travel in the past. I know. But
I
if we
hate
go
time
off,
travel.
what if we go
Hate time travel
But
in
if we go off
stories.
the same theory and just say like this was Cass creating basically a fanfic using the information he already had at his disposal,
Yeah.
knowing full well that Dean would go along with it enough that it wouldn't, have like. But if Dean had gone back and just been like, "Okay, Dad, buy the bus,"
You're right.
And then he came back to the president to have the Impala. He'd be like, wait a second,
Hold on.
wait a
Something's not
minute,
right.
where's my bus?
There you go. He just wanted his bus so badly.
Or a van that he could live
He
in,
wanted to live van life just like Andy.
just like you.
Well, I mean, the dream. Uh yeah. So I think that this was a really interesting conversation.
Yeah, I'm like, I came in here with a strong opinion, and through yourself and my own thought, I have convinced myself otherwise. But I am
Mm.
still very much like entangled in these two theories of like it's pure fan fiction and like there is a future multiverse a la Marvel style.
I mean, the thing is, and I want to be very clear because sometimes like like sometimes I feel like I say things and people just like run with it a little too far. But like I Dean plays guitar, but I think that this could be the future, but it's the future as written by Zachariah. That's how I'm looking at it. There you
Agreed.
go.
That's it. Like I agree with you completely. On my end, it's more of a I agree, but is it a pure fantasy world he's created, or is it him cherry picking a timeline? I have both reason to believe both, but I like that I don't know which one it is, and I have to play with
Mm,
it.
right. All
That's
right. Well, this was absolutely lovely.
This was
Thank you
so
so much.
fun. Well, everyone have a wonderful evening and join us next time.
Yeah, see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.